You're listening to the Cool CLE Show.
I'm Jay, host of the Cool CLE Show, brought to you by CoolCleveland.com, putting you in touch with cool events, people, news, and neighborhoods in the Cleveland region. Do you DIY in the CLE? Well, doing it yourself can take many forms, from tackling a little home renovation to maintaining your own vehicle. On this episode, we're talking to a couple of organizations that are helping citizens be empowered to do it themselves. Steve Knoble of Knoble Moto, with motorcycle maintenance classes at a Skidmark Garage, a 10,000 square feet community motorcycle garage, and David Brock of the Home Repair Resource Center, a charity operating out of Cleveland Heights that holds regular home maintenance, buying classes, and a tool library. We hear from both about upcoming classes and resources available. Stay tuned. But first, here's some events I think should be on your calendar. More than 50 teams from across Northeast Ohio will hit the beach on August 3rd for the 2019 AIA Cleveland Sand Festival to determine who reigns supreme at building sandcastles. All are welcome to this family-friendly event at Edgewater Beach. The building starts at 8 a.m. with public voting starting at 1. Hope Week, August 5th through 11th, is an opportunity for you to partner with incredible local organizations who are bringing hope to the city of Cleveland. There will be over 35 different opportunities for you to support organizations who have provided hope to those in need. During Hope Week, you'll have the opportunity to volunteer, donate goods, attend free workshops, and support local businesses and initiatives throughout the Cleveland area. You can check out all the opportunities to serve and sign up at hopeforcle.churchcenter.com. Clear some shelf space and take home some new favorites at Bookhouse Brewing's monthly book swap every first Tuesday, with the next being August 8th. You can bring anything from a single book to an armload. Grab a beer, peruse what your fellow book lovers have brought, and any leftovers at the end of the night will be donated to Seeds of Literacy, who provide free education to adults in the Cleveland area. Cleveland is hosting the 2019 World Yo-Yo Contest. That's right, August 7th through the 10th at the Renaissance Cleveland Hotel. It brings together the best yo-yo players in the world for their shot at bringing home the World Championship title in one of 8 different divisions. Tickets are available at cleveland2019.com. And this band, Meg and the Magnetosphere, will be at the Garage Bar in Willoughby on August 8th. Here's a track from them called Same Rain. Okay, we've got Steve Knoble. He runs Knoble Moto, which is this really clever idea where he's training motorcyclists how to be their own mechanic with Knoble Moto classes coming out of Skidmark Garage. Thanks so much, Steve, for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
All right, let's talk about your pedigree, right? Okay. How long have you been riding bikes?
Been like somewhere around 20 years, maybe a little on the plus side of that. As a kid, I, saw motorcycles. My uncle had one, and, they were always super cool on TV and the movies. And bought my late teens, early 20s, bought a 75 KZ 400, Kawasaki KZ 400 that actually I still have. And it just started as kind of like we'll do this for a little while and it'll be a fun thing. And I really fell in love with it. And I got involved in racing, was on a crew in the Profile and the AHDRA on a Profile Harley team for a while, and done some, road course type racing at like Mid-Ohio, really track days of that, did some drag racing. It went from just like a small hobby to really like a life passion thing. And it encompasses a large portion of my free time now, this hobby. And I've had numerous bikes of all sorts over the years, Harleys and crotch rockets and cruisers and standards and European bikes. And my wife rides motorcycles, and we travel and we go down the Smoky Mountains, and we took our honeymoon on my bike. And, so it's really became like a big part of my life.
Tell us about the first time that you decided to repair or restore a bike yourself.
Really, I think it started on necessity. The bike I bought at the time was probably 25, 30 years old. And there was just a lot of maintenance items that needed to be done. It leaked fuel. The charging system didn't work great. The wiring was terrible. And at the time, it was pretty much impossible to find a shop that would work on an old bike. Most of them only wanted to do new bikes, and, older than 7 or 10 years. They wouldn't even touch it. So it was just kind of a case of, you had to learn. And I was already, familiar with, working on cars and stuff with my father. So a lot of it kind of rolled over to that. And then partially on necessity, and then partially with just wanting to do my own work and that joy of fixing your own bike and tuning it and, doing the maintenance on it and just being very hands-on on your hobby.
And so now you're running these classes out of Skidmark. You've started this business called Knoble Moto, and you've been running sort of motorcycle maintenance 101 classes, which we'll talk a little bit later, but also specialist classes on carburetors and all kinds of stuff. So why did you decide to kind of share that hobby and make that available to others?
Over the years, I've had a lot of people that ask me about, whether they want me to work on their bike. And I've worked, as a mechanic here and there. But I've had a lot of people that ask me, for tech advice on their bike, or can you show me this, or how do I do that? And, here and there, I've helped people, and sometimes I've turned people away due to free time or the in-depth or, how in-depth the repair is. But it really just kind of started as this personal belief that like knowledge should be shared. I've never been one of the people that wants to keep what they know secret and keep other people out. Like, I feel this is something that most people with a basic mechanical ability can at least scratch the surface of or do. And maybe they just need somebody to kind of point them in the right direction or answer a couple questions, and they can take off running with it. And I try to do classes. They're everywhere from like the 101 classes, entry level maintenance, checking fluids and, making sure your bike is just good to ride, all the way up to, the more in depth of your, retuning and rejetting your carburetors and driveline service and customization and modifications to your bike too. So
I think it's quite interesting how, like with Skidmark Garage, and there's some other businesses in town that kind of have this sort of business model around membership. And I guess, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I read, like Skidmark is kind of like that, where you sort of pay a membership and you can go in, you can use the tools. You don't have to invest in all of that stuff yourself because that's obviously very expensive. Why do you think people are suddenly, there's this resurgence of kind of DIYing it and maintaining what you've got as opposed to just scrapping it and buying new?
I think a lot of people, just have a desire they want to get more involved in their hobby and they want to be more hands-on. This is something they find interesting, but when it either, just requires money, or you just want to be more in tune with this hobby that you have and want to know more about it. That's where the desire to fix your own stuff up and to fix up the old bike, or to, just do your own maintenance comes into it. Because I know a lot of people at Skidmark, like, they have the financial means to, to pay a shop to do these things. It's really the desire and the hobby of, getting involved in their own bike that, drives them to, take on these projects and fix and build. It's kind of like a hobby craft, the same way, people garden or they build things or whatever it may be.
Yeah. So, okay. So somebody might be listening and they're like, I got a bike and I'd like to learn that. What kind of people is some of the, like, if we talk about the Motorcycle Maintenance 101, so we've got one coming up on August 1st, one on September 5th. What kind of people are good for that kind of class?
I'd say the good candidates are those, maybe someone who just bought a bike, or maybe they've had their bike for years, but they really want to learn more about the basic workings of it. Mm-hmm. Changing their fluids, what all the writing on the side of your tire means, the different pressures and numbers and stuff like that, and how to, even just to give the bike a good inspection for a trip, checking your brakes and stuff. So, as far as people, I've had everyone from 18, 19-year-olds all the way up to retirees that just bought an old bike that they want to get on the road. So I'd say it's really any motorcyclist who just really wants to learn more about, get involved in their bike. Yeah,
you just go through all the basics with them. So no experience really necessary or required.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, no experience necessary. Just
a desire.
Even if you don't know anything more about than putting gasoline in your bike, we can take it from there. And I encourage everyone to, I give out booklets and workbooks and handbooks and stuff with the classes, and you get it in like a digital format with some links and a printed copy.
Okay.
With all classes. And I encourage people, like, as we go through the class, just if you have a question, just interrupt me and ask the question, and I will answer it to the best of my abilities. Usually 9 times out of 10, anything anybody throws at me, I can usually, either come up with an answer or point them in the right direction to the answer. So yeah, anyone is welcome to come to these classes. There's no, especially the one-on-one classes, there's no pre-standard of, I don't know enough or anything. If you think that, then you are probably the perfect person for the class.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you want to find out more about Knoble Moto, you can go check them out. They're all, you guys are active on all the social media channels. You've got your blog on knoblemoto.com. That's Knoble with a K, by the way, people.
Yes.
And you also sort of contribute regularly to a local podcast. Is that right?
Well, I contribute to Thunder Roads, Ohio. I write a tech article for them, which is kind of a local little free motorcycle magazine.
Uh-huh.
As far as the local podcasts, every once in a while I stop in at Cleveland Moto, motorcycle dealership here on the west side, and just kind of join in the beer drinking and motorcycle arguing that goes on there. On that podcast, and then I have some friends out on the Wheel Nerds podcast too that I've chatted with them a little bit. But the only regular contributions are really Thunder Roads, Ohio, and then of course my blog
and your YouTube videos as well.
Oh yes, absolutely, yes. I have a YouTube channel. You can find links to that on my social media, and I have installation videos on there, and basic maintenance videos, and repair videos, even do some sound tests for some friends at Super Trap, since they're also here in Cleveland, Ohio, and they make performance exhaust.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, such a unique opportunity for those motorcyclists out there to learn how to maintain your bike and learn from a real local expert, Steve Knoble. Check him out on social media and knoblemoto.com. And also, if you're interested, check out their classes that they've got going on. Of course, Motorcycle Maintenance 101 kicking off first on August 1st and September 5th. You've got the carburetor class on August 8th. Thank you so much, Steve, for joining us.
Thank you very much. Just like to add in one other thing at the end that we always throw out there. Everyone is welcome at Skidmark Garage. It's considered an open, safe space for anyone of any life path or, experience or knowledge level. It's a very big deal there at Skidmark.
Yeah, we like them too. All right. Thanks, Steve.
All right. Thank you very much.
We've now got new music from Akron's Librarians with Hickeys. It's called Black Velvet Dress.
knew it was time to put it behind you as you reached out for the phone. You're a black velvet dress, best party dress, black velvet dress, black velvet dress. The names and faces all came back, memories running through the playback in your mind. Fast forward to the parts that remind you why it's the past and not the present time. You're a black velvet dress, best party dress, black velvet dress, black velvet AM and the place is set. 9:15 and the food is fed. 10 o'clock, music screams. A look in the mirror sets the scene. And I come another day alone. As you pour another drink, another drink, another drink. Your black velvet dress, best party dress, black velvet dress, black velvet dress, black velvet dress, best party dress, black velvet dress, black velvet dress. I heard you were giving a funeral today.
That was new music from Librarians with Hickeys called Black Velvet Dress, available at bigstirrecords.com. You can catch them live at this year's Porch Rocker Music and Arts Festival, August 17th, where they'll be just one of the thousands of local musicians and artists there performing. All right, now we've got an organization with us that's really helping Cleveland residents DIY it. It's the Home Repair Resource Center, and we've got David Rock, their education and outreach coordinator, with us. Thank you so much, David, for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, so you are a nonprofit that's empowering residents to maintain their own homes. How are you doing that?
Well, a number of different ways. We've been doing it since the early 1970s. And recently, what we do are several things. One, we put together a series of home repair classes so that residents can come take the classes, learn some of the skills from basic repair skills through more advanced skills, so that they can make some of the home repairs themselves. And even if they can't make the home repairs after taking one of our classes, they're able to interact with a contractor, perhaps if they have to hire one. And even if the skill that they learn they can't particularly do, there is a sense of empowerment when you do learn how to hang drywall, when you learn how to correctly grout tile. When you do things like that, there really is a sense of, oh, okay, I could probably do this. And in the long run, not only are they able to fix their homes without the monetary concerns that so often affect people in these situations. So
yeah, that's interesting as well. Like, okay, you learn how to maybe undrain a pipe or do something like that. Maybe that's a little bit too heavy for me. But when I'm talking to my plumber that I hire, he's not going to pull the wool over my eyes. I'm going to be like, no, I know that. I know what that is. I know that's
right,
a 5-minute job.
I know, right? Yeah, right. Which is great. And then if they start using lingo that, you know, to try to impress you and you can respond in their language, I think that might catch them off guard as well, and you'll
Yeah, very
realize,
savvy.
yeah, right.
And I read on your website that really you describe a ripple effect that goes way beyond just fixing up the home. Can you describe what that ripple effect is that you guys see once people start taking some pride in their property and they're able to maintain their property?
Well, that's really several fold. It helps if there's multiple people, for example, in the neighborhood, and you're able to say that I can fix this home myself, and then the person down the street sees this, and they're forced almost to keep up with whatever repairs you may be making. So that in that sense, there is the ripple effect that can build throughout a community, throughout a street even, and then they can fix what's inside, what's outside the home. Also, I think that the ripple effect can be individual, that you learn, let's say, like I was referencing ceramic tile, you learn how to grout that correctly. Well, then you want to learn how to do something else correctly. And you go ahead and you learn how to fix a plaster wall in your or hole in your plaster, excuse me. Or if you want to learn how to install a concrete paver patio or something outside. And then before you know it, you're learning all these things. And once you gain one skill, you gain a sense of faith in yourself. And so this notion of a ripple effect can really be in multiple ways that happens. Yeah.
So not only sort of building on stable, safer, more beautiful communities and streets in our city, but also that personal empowerment that you talk about, increasing our skills. Very, very powerful. So we talked about the classes. What other types of assistance or resources does the HRRC offer?
Yeah, we like to think of it really as anything that involves the home, from purchase to repair to foreclosure prevention, anything in between. So we also offer a monthly series of 4 classes called our Home Buyer Education Series. And this is a free series that enables people to come for 2 hours once a week. They learn everything from the importance of credit to closing costs, to dealing with realtors, to all of that, to everything that goes into, because buying a home could be a daunting task, to say the least. And some people aren't necessarily equipped or have a strong background in home ownership with their family or whatever it may be. So that is something we provide. And we also provide a tool library, which has been really a big hit. It's been open for about 2 years, and we're up to about 1,100, I think over 1,100 tools now. And last year, I was looking actually at the numbers earlier today, and I think last year we had something like 350 distinct individuals use a tool, which was pretty impressive. And then we actually rented out over 3,000 tools in the last year alone. So that's been just a real boon. And you see people coming back once they realize, because if you need to use, I don't know, a drain snake, let's say, like you were talking, if your plumber comes to your house and tries to tell you, well, this is going to take me an hour and a half. Well, if you've taken the class or borrowed a drain snake from us, you know that this isn't that difficult of a job and you know how to do it. So that's really been beneficial. So all of those tools help as well. And we do other things, financial capability, one-on-one financial capability trainings that also help people, obviously, just with all aspects of their life and money. And then we have, for Cleveland Heights, we have specific targeted programs for seniors and for homeowners in Cleveland Heights. Much of what we do is available to residents throughout the county. Cleveland Heights is, of course, our benefactor for, certainly our biggest benefactor. And so we do offer programs specifically for them as well, so that if they need help paying for a roof problem or something along those lines, we can help them with that.
So you have lots of information about how to get hold of grants, and if you're really, so I just think what you guys do is just fantastic. And so whether you and you don't make any distinction like who can tap into these resources, whether you're super rich or on the breadline, these are resources that are available to all citizens with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then that's so cool too, because sometimes people think, oh, well, I'm not low income, but yeah, you're right. Like how many times you don't buy a house like all the time. You maybe do it once or twice in your lifetime. This does not come natural to people.
Right.
Why invest in hundreds and hundreds of dollars in a tool that you're probably going to use once?
One time, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I think this is such a great idea. So if you're interested, if you're thinking about doing some DIY, you got some great classes. That Home Buyer Education Series is kicking off like the first or second week in August. Is that right?
Yeah, that one runs every month, and it's usually on Tuesdays or Thursdays, or Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and it's 2 hours once a week, and then it starts back over at the beginning of the next month. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one runs every month. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much, David. So if you want some more information
Absolutely.
about what the Home Repair Resource Center, that's a bit of a tongue twister, David. I got to tell you.
I know. Tell me about it. I know, right? If I was around in 1971, I think I would have come up with a flashier,
Little more
more abbreviated
roll
name.
off the
Yes. Right. Exactly.
They're at hrrc-ch.org. That's hrrc-ch.org. Or you can give them a call at 216-381-6100. Thank you so much, David,
Absolutely.
for telling us about your organization. Really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you very much for all that you do as well. Thank you.
Well, hopefully you've been inspired to DIY it today. Big thanks to Steve Knoble of Knoble Moto and David Brock of Home Repair Resource Center for coming on the show to talk about their many opportunities to do it yourself. Check them out and sign up for one of their classes. And also big thanks to Meg and the Magnetosphere and Librarians with Hickeys for the tunes this week. You've been listening to the Cool CLE Show, brought to you by CoolCleveland.com. Have a good one.